Okay, so you can hear me. Great. Okay, so let's start. We're going to do a little sequence today for the heart and the fire element in the water, fire and water elements, heart and kidney. So let's start with some breathing, some wave breathing. So one hand on the lower abdomen, the other hand on the chest. And let's start by inhaling from the bottom, letting it rise up through the rib cage into the chest. And then on the exhale, let's sink back down. And then inhale and exhale. So ideally, we're breathing intentionally to bring down, to slow the breath down. Think about maybe aiming for like a count of 5. So slow inhale for the count of 5. And then exhale for the count of 5. And then we'll incorporate some movement. Same breath. Our hands won't be on our abdomen, but it's the same type of wave breathing as we float the hands up. So on the inhale, let's inhale the arms out to the sides, all the way up. And then as the hands come above the head, crisscross your wrists so you can see me. So your palms touch for a moment and then release them and then exhale back down. So this is wave breathing with soaring eagle. So inhale slowly. Crisscross so the palms touch just for a moment at the top of the inhale and then exhale all the way back down. And maybe at the bottom of the exhale, we pause. And then inhale. And exhale. So on the inhale, as we expand up, we're giving the ribs, the muscles between the ribs, extra space to move so that our lungs can fully expand. The lungs are actually passive, if you didn't already know that. The lungs don't do anything. It's the muscles, it's the diaphragm descending down that creates a pressure gradient between the outside and inside. And as the diaphragm descends, the intercostal muscles between the ribs expand and then the lungs inflate. So by stretching the muscles around the lungs, right, we're keeping them nice and pliable so that we can continue to take these nice deep breaths as we meander through life. Because the better we breathe, the healthier we are and the longer we'll live, usually. Hopefully. And come all the way down. Okay, now let's open up the spine. So let's turn from the hips and the waist and start knocking across the lower abdomen and the lower back. Right, we start opening up this center column of energy that we call the spine, right? Like little shock waves, starting from the sacrum, the very base, and then the lumbar. So as we knock, it's like we're sending little inputs to send energy and cerebral spinal fluid up. So it's really good for the brain also. And let's come up just below the collarbone, hitting those lung points. And then come all the way to the tippity top of the shoulders. We'll do some work today also on releasing, since we're working with the fire element, the heart and small intestine channels run down the arms, and especially the small intestine channel comes up to the shoulder. So we'll be releasing this area a lot so that we're freeing up all those pathways that run up and down the arms. And then come back down below the collarbone. And then back down to the waist. Oops. Keep going. And then start to slowly unwind. And then come to stillness. Okay, and so for spinal cord breathing, we'll do the variation called bear walking, part of the Animal Frolics QiGong type of modality. So as we turn to your left, come to the ball of your right foot, and then your hands will come up by your head. So we're opening up the spine like we usually do in spinal cord breathing, but now we're over to the side, and then come to the center, and then exhale, release the hands as they float down. And now inhale over to the right, come to the ball of your left foot. Just makes it a little easier to turn, and then exhale back down the center. And then inhale over to the left, to the center, and exhale. And then over to the right. So opening, we're twisting slightly, and then we're extending the front of the spine, and then coming down. So it's just a little slight variation. Still think of that slow breath. You don't always have to inhale for the count of 5 and exhale for the count of 5, but think about that type of elongation. And so as we move through even these clearing and stretching exercises, that we're still channeling that nice, slow, deep breath in and then out. And let's do one more time to each side. Inhale. And last time. Inhale. And exhale. Okay. So nice and open now in the spine. Good morning, Cynthia. Okay, so now let's go into a wider stance, and we'll get, it's 30 degrees here today, by the way, upstate. So while we're working on fire and water, we're going to generate a little bit of heat since we are moving into cooler or colder weather. So let's start with a wider stance. Hands come to a prayer position right in front of the center of your chest. And for swimming dragon, I'm going to transfer the weight over to your right. These palms come across to the right, and then turn and look left. And then come back to the center. You can dip down a little bit if that feels good. And then come over now to the left, and then you turn your head and look right. Back to the center, over to the right, turn and look left. So your weight shifting as the hands come across in the same direction, and then you turn and look in the opposite direction. And then you start picking up a little bit of speed. So sinking down, transfer the weight over. Don't forget to breathe. I like breathing in one direction, like an inhale in one direction, then exhale in the opposite, but whatever feels good for you. Start feeling some heat in the legs. And then let's come to the center. Let's take a moment, reconnect with the breath. So inhale, heart to the sky. And then exhale, sink the chest, heart to the earth. And then again, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. That feels good. Hopefully it feels good for you. We'll do that one more time. So again, if you want to go into more of a challenge, obviously the deeper we bend, it's going to be more challenging. So if you just want to give a micro bend to the knees, it's the same movement, just not as challenging for the muscles of the legs. So let's come to the same initial stance. This time, let's transfer the weight over to the left. Turn and look right. Inhale, and then exhale. And you can play with going a little more slowly. That actually might be a little more challenging, right? Because you're holding that sort of squat position a little bit longer, or you can go a little bit faster. We're just moving energy really through the spine. We're opening up the shoulders, building some heat. Come to the center and reconnect with the breath. Heart to the sky, inhale. And exhale. And again, inhale. And exhale. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Okay, my heart is pumping. Hopefully yours is too. Okay, so let's stay in the wide stance for a minute if you need to shake things out for a minute. Those ankles. And then let's just come to a slight forward bend. Keep your knees on the thighs above the knee. And then we'll just do a little gentle twisting. So inhale, and then on the exhale, we're going to twist over to the left so that your right shoulder drops down and you're looking over your left shoulder. And let's just stay here for a few rounds of breath. So inhale, think about maybe growing a little taller from the sacrum to the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, you might go a little bit deeper into your twist if that feels good. Nothing should feel bad. That's an indication that maybe your body's not feeling it today. If it feels good, then continue. And then inhale, let's come to the center. And this time, exhale, drop your left shoulder down and look over the right. And let's just pause here again, take a few rounds of breath. And then let's move on the breath now. So inhale to the center. Exhale, drop your right shoulder down, look over your left, and then go right into the next twist. So inhale to the center again. This time, exhale, dropping the left shoulder down, look over the right. And then at your own pace, just let these gentle twists start to wring out your spine, wring out the organs. Maybe you'll get some nice cracks in there like me. I'm like a Rice Krispie treat. And then come to the center. And now keep the knees bent slightly. And then just allow your hands, either they can stay on your thighs if your hamstrings are really tight. If you're dizzy, you don't have to bring your head below your heart. You can even just hang out here with a more neutral back. It will still be helpful. Otherwise, bring your hands towards the ground. Let your head be nice and relaxed. So we're getting a nice but gentle stretch to the hamstrings, the lower back, all the way up, releasing the shoulders. And then grab one wrist with your opposite hand and let's slowly roll all the way up. Stretch your hands way above. And then let's do a few full body flows here. So keep the knees, always protect the knees. Keep them a little bit flexed, bouncy. And then exhale, come forward with a flat back towards the ground. And then roll the spine up. So just think of unfurling like a spring fern. And then inhale, exhale forward. Inhale, roll up. Exhale forward. Inhale, roll up. And one more. And then now let's bring the feet closer together, shake them out. And let's just do another stretch for the neck and shoulders before we go into our flows. So let's do spreading the feathers. So let's start with the palms facing forward. And then we're going to reach forward like you're gathering in towards you. And then stretch the fingers down. Twist so your palms are facing forward again. Gather in. And then reach towards the ground. And again, one more time. Inhaling, gathering in. Stretch the fingers towards the ground. Now let's keep the hands extended, the arms extended. Let your head tilt over to the side. Really gently allowing the head just to roll towards the back of the shoulder on the inhale. And then exhale towards the front of the shoulder. So let's try to avoid pressing or jamming the head over to the side. We just are allowing gravity to create a gentle stretch, and we're just allowing the head to roll back and forward on the breath. Releasing muscles, tendons, and then all the way forward and over to the opposite side. Inhale, the head rolled back, and exhale forward. And then let your head come all the way forward. Drop the arms down for a moment. Just noticing any release. Maybe already feeling a little bit looser. So now let's do the opposite side. So this time we're going to gather from front to back. So we're going to gather, bringing the arms behind us, spiral the hands in, and as we extend the fingers towards the earth, our palms are now facing forward. And then turn so that you're gathering from behind and then extending down. So reaching back on the inhale and then extend. And then one more time. Inhale. Now so your palms are now facing forward. So stretching the arms down. And again, just let your head tilt over to the side. And then inhale, rolling back, and exhale forward. And then come all the way to the center, and then now over to the opposite side, and then inhale and exhale. And then let the arms float down, bring your head upright. Let's just pause for a minute. And now let's shake. So let's start with the palms facing up. So we're going to be shaking, where our intention is going to be on the forearms. So shaking the wrists is thinking about releasing tension in the inner forearms. Maybe you can hear me now. I have a new audio thing going on, so hopefully you can actually hear the sounds when I make the sounds now. So if this is the first time you're hearing me do the heart sound for once, inhale through the nose and then turn so the palms are facing down, still shaking the wrists. Now we're focusing more on the outer forearms. Inhale. And then start to slow down. Okay, so now that we have emptied our cups, gotten rid of the stuff, now we have space to actually pull in and draw in whatever energy that you want. And let's start with, first of all, since we're going to be working with the heart, a lot of the heart-centric movements, the small intestine is, in Chinese medicine, the organs are paired. There's a yin organ and a yang organ for each element. The fire element is the heart and small intestine. And there is a point called small intestine 3. So if you look at the outer part where your pinky is and you curl your fingers in, I find that's easier to find this point. Find where the pinky, the joint of the pinky is. And then right, if you bend, you create a loose fist just off of the pinky bone. There's a little bit of a depression right in here. You can see that. Small intestine 3. If you actually press in there, usually it's a little bit tender. This point is really great to release the neck, the upper back in general. So we're going to take loose fists and we're just going to activate that point by knocking them together. So this point is often used if people have a lot of neck issues or upper back issues. And then let's also activate the points that I love doing when we're opening the heart. The pericardium 6 and Sanjiao 5 points, about 2 fingers up from the wrist. We're going to crisscross and knock those points. So we're knocking on the pericardium on one side and the Sanjiao, also called the triple burner, on the other side for our immune system, but also interrelational or interpersonal immune system. How to not take on someone else's energy and make it your own. Little acupressure there for you. Now drop your hands down. Close your eyes because you might already notice like that tingling sensation that's maybe running down your arms into your fingertips. You know, your electricity. That is qi. It's just our life force energy. So we'll start with, we're going to combine open the flow with flying. So we'll start, knees are a little bent, and then we'll just float the arms up on the inhale. And then on the exhale, they float down. Now inhale out to the sides to about shoulder height. Drop the elbows and then exhale back down. Now to the front. So inhale. Think about your hands and your wrists, keeping them nice and loose. No tension. And moving slowly on the breath. So again, with flows, they're called flows because when we move slowly with intention and relaxation, right? There's an inherent water-like component, like quality to it. And we know that water, right? If we have the faucet on, we can feel it feels soft. But when we're in a body of water that has a current, water is also very powerful and very strong. So by moving slowly on the breath, we're cultivating our ability to move with the least amount of resistance, but generating a substantial amount of internal power simultaneously. It's like embedded in the relaxation. Sort of how the concept of Tai Chi, right? Using an opponent's energy, not resisting and tightening and contracting, but allowing a flow to happen that can be then transformed and almost doubled in your output. So moving without resistance generates that internal power. And we start filling up with all of this energy that is healing, that helps us feel good, that helps us feel our aliveness. Now, in the next exhale, let's come back down for a moment. Feel our chi ball. And then let's float the arms up into embrace the tree. So keep the knees slightly bent. Always good to go back to the ergonomics. Knees are slightly bent. And if you want to do a very exaggerated posture that most of us are in, sort of the head forward and this kind of swoopy back, tucking the tailbone down, keeping the knees slightly bent, and then the chin slightly down. Column of energy from the top to bottom that helps us be in alignment with earth, with gravity. So even in the flows, we're thinking about, are we moving in alignment? So we'll start with embrace the tree, just feeling your tailbone drop down towards the earth, and then your crown lifting up, chin slightly in. And then let's drop. With this new software. Now I don't know if I'm mirroring you or not, if it's flipping the image. So we're just gonna drop one hand, keep the other hand facing your heart, and then whatever hand is on top, we're gonna transfer the weight to that side and then rotate over. Now we're gonna change the position of the hand. So the bottom hand comes up, the top hand drops down, okay? Transfer the weight to the back foot, and then we rotate over to that side now, and then change the position of the hands. So there's a weight shift first, then we start to turn in that same direction, and then we change the position of the hands. So we're moving from the waist, from the middle. The arms just float across as we're turning. And then we can relax into the flow. So as you're shifting the weight, already starting to turn, so the movements become synchronized. Right? Beginning and end start to melt away. Right? We're shifting the weight and turning. Hands change position, keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. This is cloudy hands. So thinking about your hands as little wispy white clouds. So keeping the arms relaxed. Imagine there's as much softness in your hands as the clouds in the sky. And we're feeling the connection of that top hand to your heart, creating a cooling, calming energy throughout the heart channel running down the inner arm into the palm on both sides. And that bottom hand, as we move across, just imagine it's tracing the surface of water. Moving slowly. Let's slow down even more. Mindfulness in motion. That's what QiGong is. Let's come back to embrace the tree for a moment. Let's just pause here. Postures are a way of cultivating internal strength. It's also like a container. So think about the flows. We're moving, right? We're in 70% water or something. So a lot of water inside of us. We're helping move. And then the postures here are like the embankments. It's keeping the water, contained so that we can channel it and it has energy moving in the right direction. It's not spilling out. And then drop the arms down. And so from here, since that was the cloudy hands for the fire element, let's go in. Well, I was thinking about doing the fountain, but I think, let's do waterfall. So we're going to scoop down. So palms are facing forward. Bend the knees slightly, and we're going to scoop up right in front of the third eye. The back of the fingers come together, so the fingers are facing down. As we exhale, just imagine that you're kind of pouring that water from the top of your head all the way down through your body. And then inhale, scoop up. And as we start to pour, I am slightly pushing my my hips forward just slightly as we pour down. Then coming back up, bend slightly, inhale, scoop right into the center of the brain, and then it's pouring, imagine, down the spine, through the meridians, coming off of the spine, down the legs. Inhale. Creating balance. Fire and water balance one another. Fire without water, we burn out. We need the fluids to keep fire in check, or else we dry up. There's too much heat, there's agitation or insomnia, heart palpitations, irritability, right? So the water helps keep the fluids moving, gives the fire context. And then likewise, water without fire, we have stagnation, like a pond of murky water. So fire helps move water through the body. We need that internal fire to keep things activated and dynamic. Just inhale, pulling in, pouring down. Right through the center of your body, all the way down. And let's exhale, come back to our chi ball for a moment. And then we'll finish one last flow for our energetic protection, our Wei Qi. So the same points that I like to do when we do our crisscross, pericardium 6 and Sanjiao 5, we're going to bend the knees slightly, crisscross at that same point. Doesn't matter which hand is on top. And then inhale as we come and bring the hands up to about the center of your chest. Separate the hands out to the sides and then palms face down, and we exhale all the way down. You can bend slightly. So it's a long inhale as we come all the way up. Inhale, we're opening the chest, and then exhale. So we're inhaling. This is a posture of protection. And once we have, or if we have, really firm boundaries and good emotionally and immunologically, our immune system in general, right? Then we can show up in the world maybe feeling a little bit stronger and ready to engage with the world, with people, because we have a really good foundation of our own boundary and immune system, emotionally as well. Inhale. And then exhale down. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Just feel when we have whatever it is that we need to firm up or want to firm up to feel integrated and whole. And then We might have more energy to meet life and life stressors with a little more flexibility, resilience. And not feel depleted. One more inhale. And then exhale. One last time. Let's feel that chi ball. You might notice sometimes when we do more flows and work with the channels in the arms, we go back to the chi ball. Sometimes it has a little bit different quality, maybe a stronger magnetic pull. And then draw the arms down. Let's inhale the arms down, around, and up. And then exhale back down. And then inhale. And one more time, inhale. Bringing the feet close together. Let's exhale, one hand on top of the other. And we'll pause here just for a moment. Feeling the heart maybe open. If there was any agitation, maybe a little softness. If you're feeling a little heavy or sluggish, mobilizing that water with fire's dynamic energy, maybe you feel a little less tired. And when you're ready, you can drop your arms down and crack your eyes open. Thank you so much for joining me. Friday classes are one of my favorites. And I'm